Hello, salt and pepper families. We are here with your week 1 Labradoodle puppy litter update. These little Labradoodle puppies are now an entire week old, and Mama Orca is doing great, as are the puppies. And in today's video, we're going to give you an update on Orca, as well as the puppies. We'll give you an update on their weights, and we're going to let you know if they made that all-important first milestone of doubling their birth weight within the first 7 days. And we're also just going to give you a little bit of information on getting yourself ready for welcoming your new salt and pepper Labradoodle puppy into your home, and also a little bit about early neurological stimulation. Hi, I'm Claire from Isle Labradoodles, and these puppies, as you can see, have changed dramatically in just 7 days. When we did the birth announcement, they were little tiny wiggly things, and they are so fragile and small that you wonder, holy cow, how do they even survive? Especially when you add to that the knowledge that, of course, their eyes are sealed and their ears are sealed shut. And in case you're wondering why puppies are born with their eyes and their ears sealed shut, it's because their neurological system, their brains, are not all prepared yet to handle that type of sensory information. It's a lot of information when you can see and hear what's going on in the world. So puppies are born with those two receptors of information closed off to them, and that allows their neurological system to develop to the point where they are comfortably able to process all of the information without getting overloaded. So that's the reason why that happens, and that's why puppies open their eyes and their ears at different times, although within a general prescribed rate of time. So next week when we do our update, we may just find that we have some puppies who have opened their eyes. Now, as you can see, Orca's sitting up here. She's getting a little less helpful, shall we say, when it comes to the puppies. She's becoming a little bit more interested in her own personal comforts. She's doing a fabulous job, don't get me wrong. The puppies are all well cared for. You can see they all are quite chunky. They all have beautiful shiny coats. But Orca is also getting to the point where she's like, okay, is my job done yet? She's not very good at counting the weeks and realizing there's still a few to go. Orca had a visit from her guardian mom this week, and that really perked her up. She really enjoyed doing that. So the puppies, all they really do in their first week is eat, sleep, and repeat. Their only job is to grow and get stronger, develop their muscle tone, and just continue with their physical development more than anything else. But you can see the way that Pink is nursing here. They're getting very good at figuring out how to access the milk bar when Orca's not being cooperative. And sometimes that means you fall off and you get upside down, and it's very frustrating because as a little roly-poly puppy, you're still not very good at getting yourself righted. And now Orca's got herself in a situation where she's got puppies right underneath her. She can't comfortably lie down to let them nurse, so she's going to stand there and figure out what it is she wants to do. The other thing that Orca is doing right now is being difficult about eating. This is really common for girls at about this time. Their hormones are shifting and changing. Everything's changing in their body, and that tends to affect their appetite. So that means we have to come in, hand feed them, and sometimes that even means we take some of the food, put it in their mouths, hold their mouths closed lightly, just put our hands over them so that they have to swallow it, and that gets them started and gets them going. Because we don't want them to not be getting the full complement of nutrition that they need. It's really important for a lactating mama dog that she has all the calories, all the fat, all of the nutrients that she needs to look after all these puppies. Now the puppies aren't impacted even if mom doesn't eat. The puppies just leach everything out of their mom's body. But if mom doesn't have all of that nutrition, she is the one that pays the price. So you can see them all clambering all over each other now. They're much more mobile. They're starting to get up and walk around a lot. You'll see the 2 towels that Orca is just stepping on right now. Those are there because Orca does like to dig her bed up. We have a double carpet in here, so when she digs up one, there's still another carpet underneath, so the puppies aren't on the chloroplast. And the reason why we worry about that is not because it's cold, but it's because it's slippery. And we don't want them putting stress on their legs. Hip dysplasia is 80% environmental and 20% genetic. So we start right from the time the puppies are born by making sure that they can get really good traction on the surface that they're on. We wouldn't want them to be on this type of a surface, for instance, where they were constantly going like this and putting stress on these in their hip joints rather. So that's why we have the double carpet in there and why we're anxious for the puppies not to be slip sliding around on the chloroplast. Now I mentioned early neurological stimulation. So what's that? It's also combined with what we call scent recognition. So I'm going to use little purple collar here as my demo dog today. And hopefully she won't poop on me like we had in last week's video where one of the puppies pooped on me when I was busy trying to explain something. So little purple collar here is just your typical little Labradoodle puppy at 1 week old. And what would happen in her normal life is she would be in the position that the other puppies are in there. Occasionally she'd roll over onto her back when she fell off of the nipple or whatever happened with her brothers and sisters knocking her about. Early neurological stimulation's goal is to put the puppies into positions and situations they would not normally be experiencing or anticipating to happen. And the goal is that we do that with them and show them that only good things result from it, that there's nothing to fear, nothing to worry about. So that includes really simple things for 4 seconds, where we just do this, because that's not how a puppy would normally be. No, Orca, I don't need your help right now, thanks, honey. Or we do this, and that's it. And we do 4 different ones a day. And it includes putting them over upside down onto their back. Not right now, Orca. And we just let them be there for 4 seconds, bring them back. And then the scent recognition is my favorite part because it means you get to hold the puppy right up close, have them all snuffling around in your neck. Oh, there's nothing like that breath of warm puppy breath on your neck. They give you little kisses because, of course, they think you might be a milk bar. It's not because they like you, but I like to pretend it's because they like me so much. And this is how I'm a different smell from Orca, so I want them to smell something different every day. The other things that we'll do to get them to smell is sometimes I'll hold up the bowl of kibble for them to smell or the bowl of raw food for them to smell. Those are also 2 things that they're not used to smelling daily. And we'll even use fresh coffee beans sometimes. Even if I choose to wear perfume, I'll put it on the back of my neck so that the puppy's not getting their mouth in it, but I'll hold them right up in the general area, let them sniff that. All different things. Again, something that they're not anticipating and not being used to. Now the goal of all of this is really just to let the puppies know there's lots of experiences that will happen and none of them are anything to be afraid of. There's some talk when you talk about early neurological stimulation about how it makes your puppies stronger in terms of their heart health and other things. There's absolutely no scientific evidence that this is true. This was a theory that was developed some time ago and it's neither been proven nor disproven. So it can't hurt, and I know it does help them from a psychological point of view. And the whole goal is to provide you with a really nice, lovely, confident, and calm puppy. So I'll put a link in the comments below, and also when I write the blog post, I'll put a link in there to back to early neurological stimulation information. So if it interests you, it's something that you can read a bit more about. Now Mama Orca here, you can see she's panting. We've turned the heat down in the room. We now have the heat at 22 degrees. And you can see that the puppies are together because they will always be together. That is where they find their comfort, is being piled up with each other and knowing that their litter mates are there. But they're not like huddled up and they're not all crunched up trying to be warm. Throughout the day when we see the puppies, they're usually spread out a bit more than this. They're currently right together because there's not a lot of room with Mama Orca and Mama Claire in here. So we know that their temperature is good. Plus we can just feel their bodies. If their bodies are cool to the touch, then we know we have to turn the temperature back up again. So Orca's panting, but 22 degrees is really quite comfortable. That's the temperature we have our house at when we have our air conditioning on in the summer. We have it lower in the winter. So most of this is because her body's working hard. She's lactating and she's doing a lot of work feeding this many puppies. And look at all the eye contact she's giving the camera. It's as if she knows that the camera is going to be talking to all of you. Are you a very smart girl? So I told you that her guardian, Ron D, came to visit her a couple of days ago, and Orca was just beside herself, excited to see her mom. Although she did wander about, she wasn't completely glommed onto her or anything, but she was really happy to have the visit. And then Noisette, who's right next door, her guardian came to visit her the other day, and she couldn't come in and see the puppies. Orca absolutely refused to allow her entry into the room. She was just barking, 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 so protective. There was just no way that she was going to entertain the thought of somebody she didn't know entering the maternity ward. So Noisette's guardian went and had the visit outside in the courtyard, which is totally fine. There's no harm in that. Usually girls don't get quite so excited about having someone in the room, but there are times when they do, and I actually think that's a very good quality, that we have a mama who is so protective of her puppies. So way to go, Orca. Now, let's see if these puppies have reached their major milestone. We're going to go through the puppies in their birth order. As usual, we're going to talk a little bit about each one of them and give you what their current weights are. So these kiddos, I'll just get back to my handy dandy little guide here. Mr. Green is our firstborn puppy in this litter. Excuse me, Miss Purple, but I have to get to your brother. Of course, Miss Purple can't hear what I'm saying. Make sure we don't squash her head there as she goes under the pig rail. Hey, Chub Chub, come here, buddy. Mr. Green was the biggest puppy at birth, and he is no longer the biggest puppy. So this is what I say when a puppy is born, or even at 5 weeks if they're the largest. That doesn't mean that they're going to stay that way or mature to being the largest puppy. This guy's quiet. He is so chill. He is always upside down. He's off and off on his own. So right now I would say he was independent. In 2 weeks, I might tell you the complete opposite. So please remember, when I give you little updates on personalities at this point, these are things that can just as readily change tomorrow as stay the same throughout the week. So this little fellow, our gleaming ebony boy, he now weighs 690 grams. So he's doing fabulously. He had doubled his birth weight by day 6. So these guys are just a little bit ahead of the bell curve for weight gain, especially Mr. Green, who's having just, so many yawns. It's just such an exhausting life where you have to eat and sleep all the time. Oh, it's terrible. So that's our little handsome ebony boy, Mr. Green, with his lovely little temperament. I'm just going to pop him under Orca's leg so he can go find a spot there. Next we have Orange Collar. And that's you right here. Mr. Orange Collar. Hi, baby. Just so good he's not attached. He's also a little ebony fellow, but this little guy has a little bit of razzmatazz going along with him. He's got his 4 white paws, and then he's got all his white underneath him there, and then he's got this pretty little white stripe up his face there. This guy is not quite as laid back as Green Collar. He tends to be a little bit more fretful. If he can't find Orca, or if he can't get a spot at the milk bar, he does tend to get a little bit excited that he's going to. And I will say, not a single one of these puppies whine. Never. We never hear them. Well, no, that's talk lots. That's normal. These guys are like super silent. I come in often because I'm wondering if they're all alive still. Mr. Orange is now 637 grams, and he too doubled his birth weight by day 6. So really doing well, and I can already see that I think I'm going to predict that he's going to be one of the ones who opens his eyes up early, because it looks like this one eye here is getting even starting in the very early stages of opening up. So that's our handsome little orange color boy, Habibi. Next we have Purple Collar Girl, the girl I was using as my demo dog there. She's currently nursing away. If you can see her there, I think you can see maybe over my legs. You see how she's pawing right there at Orca? She's using her feet. And the reason the dogs do that is they're palpating the mammary gland to get the milk to come out more. So she's on one of the very front glands. These glands have the least amount of milk. The back ones have the most amount of milk. The dogs all will pick a favorite location. And Purple does tend to prefer to be in the front. She does use a lot of energy while she is nursing. And look at how gleaming her coat is. She's this pretty milk chocolate kind of girl. She's not a dark chocolate. She's a lighter one. And will her chocolate color fade and change and get lighter as she gets older? Possibly. Usually chocolates and blacks and reds do tend to lighten up as they mature. Now this little lady is the one that I say is probably a leaked phantom. You can see her pretty tan points across her chest there. You can see them a little bit more on the front of her legs. Now they look almost brindly there, almost striped. Nothing above her eyebrows to speak of, but a good amount of points on her the side of her face. Inside her ear is sort of half there, and under her tail is the most prominent place that we can see it. And little Purple Collar Girl, she's a little bit of a go-getter, aren't you? Yes, even though she prefers the front area of the milk bar, she is a determined little girl. She's feisty, and if anybody pushes her off her spot, she's right there in 2 seconds, just worming her way back in. A really good problem solver. And Purple Collar is now 662 grams, and she too doubled her birth weight on day 6. Oh no, it's a big yawn. Oh, it's so exhausting. So we'll put her right back where she was, and hopefully she can find her way back to that nipple that she was on. Next is Pink Collar Girl. I lost Pink Collar Girl earlier when I was weighing them, and now I've lost her again. Where is your little daughter? Is she over here? Okay. Yes, she is. There's a puppy. Come on, little monkey. Come on. Pink Collar Girl. She's a little bit like Green Collar. She's fairly quiet. She's fairly laid back. She is a real flashy black and white girl. She's a tuxedo almost. She's not quite a tuxedo. She's very much like Mama Orca. She has a little bit more white on the back of her neck. Orca doesn't have, well, she used to have a little bit on the back of her neck. Now you can't even see it. And you'll see right here on the top of Orca's head this little bit of white here. Well, as she's gotten older, that's kind of disappeared. When she was a puppy, it was much more evident. And that's about what you're going to see for these white marks at the back of her neck. They'll kind of blend in as time goes on. Oh my goodness me. And now I just got you all fussed up. And Miss Pink Collar, guess what? She is the biggest puppy in the litter right now, and she is weighing 734 grams. I mean, holy smokes, these guys by next week are going to be a kilogram already. They're just growing leaps and bounds, aren't you? She had doubled her birth weight on day 5. She was the first puppy to double her birth weight. She clearly has no problem finding her way around the milk bar. Oh, Orca's going to give her quite a clean up there. Apparently there was cause for alarm there, Orca, that you were worried. Next, we've got Red Collar Girl, who's right here. She also is one of our beautiful ebonies. She too has the flashy 4 white feet, flash on the chest there, and the beautiful white marking on the top of her head. A little bit less on the face, but she's got that handsome little goatee going on there. And she's the one who has just a tiny tip at the end of her tail. Whereas Pink Collar Girl, here, come here, we didn't show your tail. Pink Collar Girl's got a really nice white tip on the end of her tail there. Oh no, she says, I thought I escaped Mom's tongue. There you go. There you go. Stop your grunting. Head down. Red Collar Girl. This little girl is another one of the quiet ones. She's a snuggly type. She really enjoys the being upside down. She likes being held. She likes it if we hold her and take her picture. She really likes the face snuggles. We can spend lots of time doing this with her. She thinks this is great. And you'll see how she quieted down right away as soon as I did that. So that's one of the things we're learning and observing about each of the puppies right now is what is it that makes them calm? What is it that they like? And Red is 671 grams. She was one of the puppies who doubled her weight on day 6. And last but not least is Black Collar Girl, who is also missing in action. Where's Black? Where's my little Black? Sometimes you have to really hunt around to find. Here she is, way back here. There you go. Come on, honey. There we go. This is our actual tuxedo puppy. She is a very light brown color. She is a very pretty color. She's quite flashy with all this white she's got going on. This girl's a little bit of a head turner. She's the smallest at 629 grams. She has been the smallest throughout the litter, but she did double her birth weight just like everyone else except for Pink on day 6. She's just having no problem at all. Sometimes she loses out at the milk bar. The bigger ones do shove her out and you'll find her out at the back. She might get a little bit of extra help from me. Whenever I see her, when I'm coming by, I'm usually the one who's here helping her, and I'll find her a spot. And I might even sometimes interfere and make sure that she gets a spot, which really isn't my job. Not in that I don't want to do it, just that really it's much better if you let them all work it out themselves. But you know, just being a person, sometimes I just want to get in there, like when she's doing this and I go, oh, come on. I'll show her where there's an empty spot, or I'll help move Orca around to find a spot. Or if somebody stopped nursing because they've fallen asleep at the milk bar, I'll move them out and let her go in. But clearly, even though she's small and she does get bumped out, she's doing great because she too has doubled her birth weight ahead of the milestone date. So there you go, salt and pepper families. Your puppies are all ahead of the bell curve. You have excellent, outstanding puppies who are all at the top of their class, really doing well. Now for you, I want you to start thinking about getting your house ready to welcome your puppy. I'm going to be sending you a little video that's going to help you with some tips and tricks on this, and this will just be for the families on this litter. But what you want to do now is start thinking about, are we going to have dog-free zones? Is there going to be an area in the house where dogs don't go? If you have young children and you just are not sure that they're going to remember to pick up their clothes, their shoes, put them in the closet, pick up their toys, and most importantly, if you have teenagers who are probably the worst for picking up after themselves, I know I was when I was a teenager, you don't want them to be leaving their cell phone about, or any sort of remote control for video games or their tablets, these types of things, because those are magnets for puppies. Oh, look, a cell phone, let's eat that. Whatever it is that costs the most and is the most precious possession that you have, usually that's what your dog will gravitate to as a youngster and decide is a good chewing toy. So all those types of things. And take a walk around your house. Look about where have you got cords, electrical cords. Do you have lamps on the floor that have perhaps the off-on switch that you step on? Can you put those cords up so a puppy can't reach them? Or are you going to need to block those off? Or perhaps just move them out of the house for a period of time. Just basic things like that, where you start to think of your house and how it's going to function with a puppy in it. And the other thing you can do, which is far more fun than that, is start thinking about a name for your puppy. Now, I have a puppy coming out of this litter who is going to be a girl, and I wanted a name that went with Orca, because of course we named Orca for the transient killer whale pod that is in our area here on Vancouver Island. So I found a name that means whale in a local indigenous language, and it's called Quanus is how you say it. So that is, I think, what the little girl that I keep's name is going to be. We'll see. I haven't decided positively yet, but that's the name I've chosen. Now, is that a great name for you to choose? Probably not. It's hard to remember, it's hard to spell, people won't know how to pronounce it. When you're a breeder, you get away with those things. when you have your pet dog, you want something that's easier for people to remember, like your vet, the trainer, your groomer. You want to remember it. You want it to be easy to spell rather. And if you have young children in particular, you want it to be easy for them to say. Try to think of something unique though, not a name that every dog has. It's not something like Bailey or Gracie or Finn. Those are really popular names right now, but if you're out and you've got your dog at the beach, for instance, and you say, oh, hey, Bailey, you'll probably end up with 15 dogs coming to you. Your dog also in class is unable to differentiate if they are Bailey or the other 5 dogs in the class are Bailey. So try to think of something that's unique, something that maybe has a special meaning to you. One thing a lot of people like to do is research names that are associated with Australia or with Vancouver Island. We have a puppy, for instance, whose name is Guai, because he's named for Haida Gwaii. So those are all really cool ideas. You can have lots of fun as a family. Make up a chart and, put little dots beside names and figure out which one the whole family agrees on. If you're single, well, hey, you only have yourself to argue with. So those are the things you can start to be doing right now as one of the families for this litter. In the next week, we're going to see the puppies meet, we hope, their next milestone, which will be opening their eyes. Opening eyes usually occurs between day 12 and can be as late as day 21, but the average is usually around day 14 to day 16, so say day 15. So when we do our update next week, we'll just have to see if anybody has their eyes open. And if you have a guess as to who you think the puppy is that will open their eyes first, write it down in the comments below. And if you do have a moment, we'd love it if you'd give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video. And if you're not subscribed to our channel, please do so. It really helps us out when you make comments, give us a thumbs up, and of course, subscribe to the channel. And please don't hesitate to ask any questions you may have. So that is our week 1 update for the medium Australian Labradoodle puppies from our salt and pepper litter. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope we see you again next week.